What do you think about the cross? Is it offensive? It's a beautiful piece of jewelry? Is it all kinds of things? Some people, I don't know. Let's just talk about, what do you think of the cross is? 5 minutes. What's up, dog? Yeah. Good morning, beautiful people. It is, what is it?
It's
Wednesday. So, the cross. At the time, when it was used by the Roman citizens, well, I guess the Roman citizens that were destined for the cross, it was a punishment like no other. It was a torture device, really. They got whipped, they got made fun of, they got spit on, probably rocks were thrown, probably people were, cursing at them. And then they went up and, they laid it down, they nailed the hands, nailed the feet. They were typically naked. They put them on the cross, they put it in a hole, rip the, flesh would rip. They would kind of, choke and spit on their, breath and trying to stand up and go down, and it would rip their flesh more, and then they would, eventually die of choking on their blood or not breathing. And if they didn't die, then they would come by and knock their knees, which literally they would take a hammer and knock out their knees so they would die quicker. And it was torturous. I mean, it was not that you would say one of the best tortures, but it was one of the best tortures, ways to die at that time. And the Romans were perfect at it. They had it down pat. Typically, 25 to 50 people were crucified at the same time. So there was no jail cells where they stayed forever and got, cable TV and air conditioning and all that stuff. They literally, either you were in a hole, you were on house arrest, or you went to the cross. That's it. And so the cross was very offensive back then. Very, you would not want to die in that direction. Now, some people think it was a T. Some people think it was a lowercase t with the thing. Or some of them said back in history it was an X, a big X. Either way, it was still the cross. And so, of all the things that God would have done to Jesus, he put him on a cross. And so in Philippians chapter 2, verse 8, he says this, "And being found in human form," so he was 100% God, 100% human, "and being found in human form, he humbled himself," this is Jesus, "humbled himself by becoming obedient." Obedient. So all the way back in Genesis, when Adam and Eve sinned, it was planned. It was already planned. It wasn't like a plan B or, oops, we did it wrong this time. It was already planned. Because if we look at the prophecy, he was already going to be obedient to the death. Ready? "And being found in human form, he humbled himself by becoming obedient to the point of death, even death on a cross." Even to the point of humility and retribution and spit and beat till he was not recognized, to the crown of thorns, to the piercing of the side, blood and water came out, to just hanging there and holding all the sins of the world, the past, present, and future, on him, and the spiritual aspect of it, the physical, the mental aspect of it, everything he took on himself so we might have life. Sometimes I don't really think even Christians can grasp that. How powerful, how wonderful, how we should repeat that daily of why we have life. Because Jesus counted it all joy going to the cross to bring us to God. I think we need to repeat that every day to ourselves to understand how powerful and how much he loves us for doing that. And giving us grace that we don't deserve. Philippians chapter 2, verse 8, very powerful scripture. He humbled himself. So, if Jesus humbled himself on the cross, then my encouragement for you today is, how are you humbling yourself to others and to God and putting yourself last? I love you. Jesus love you too. You have a great Wednesday. Bye-bye.